Well, hey, welcome to Save Toys Under 6. I believe, looking at the script, yes, this is Volume 4. And with Save Toys Under 6, we try to cover everything in under 6 minutes. Like I say, it's always a game than a Russian roulette. And today I'm really fighting uphill because I've got a cold, so forgive me. I cut grass the other day and I knew it was coming. So.
And if you like it,
Oh boy. I got a new toy. Oh boy.
Now, very quickly, I want to talk about this figure. He's got some playability on him. He's been worn throughout the ages, which I love because that means he's been loved on. Very good figure. Got a lot of detail in his gloves, and it's hard to get gloves and helmets portioned right, especially with the head underneath, which we'll show you in just a minute. And they did an excellent job. I love the rubber boots. The pants, like I said, have got some wear and tear. But the cool thing is, he talks. Now, that leads me to a little bit of my disgruntled with this figure, but as I learned from one of our first Save Toys Premium members, Andrew Radcliffe, if you like everything, you don't like anything. So, yeah, while you can hear him talk, he says 3 different phrases. The previous owner showed me all 3. I have struggled in previous times to get to find those spots. There's nothing really indicating it, so that's kind of my one and only gripe. Now, let's get back on something I really do like, the helmet. Now, Michael, our head of evangelism for Save Toys, will be doing the devotion in just a second. He'll probably be covering this more than me, but this is that famous scene, and let's try not to break it on camera because that would be really bad. The famous scene where Darth Vader's face is finally revealed. It's so beautiful, all the detail, and with that helmet, it still remains proportionate. Let's see if I can activate. He has some more talking features. Oh, there's the lightsaber. And it's got a decent sound lightsaber, but going back to that, it's actually in really good shape and all, but you can hear it slightly. It lasts pretty good. You can get a couple good stances out of it. It's like you're fighting another figure if you have another 12-inch. But overall, I really, really love this figure, Darth Vader. Darth Vader's an excellent character. But now it's time to do, we're trying to beat the clock, so we're going to do a little quick devotion segment. And the guy that brought this in was really adamant about wanting to do, which we do think, like, he went right along with us, but wanted to do something spiritual with this because there's so much potential with this. So with that, I'm going to let our head of evangelism, Mike Griffin, take this episode over.
Yeah, we've just featured this figure, and I went back and I watched this. I went back and watched the original, and I watched the remake where they did a lot of digital editing and different things, and like he said about some of the things he disliked about the figure, some things I disliked about the remastering of it, but all in all, both were actually pretty good. And in the story of Vader, his full evolution, if you will, of coming around back to the light side of the Force. There's actually the scene following the lightning strike against Luke, as the Emperor is killing Luke, and Darth Vader's looking at him, and he's still fully clothed, fully masked, and he's looking back, and you can see really the fight and the warfare that's going on inside of him, because he's watching his son, which he knew about, but he also finds out in that same scene that he has a daughter too, that Luke's thoughts had betrayed her, and stuff. So that if he wouldn't turn to the dark side, then maybe she would. But Luke has always held to the premise that there's still good in you, Father, and I will not fight you. I will not fight you. And later on, as we know, when the Emperor is trying to kill Luke, and now he's finally told him, and now now as a young Skywalker, you're going to die. And it's at that point when Father goes behind the Emperor, picks him up, and then throws him down a shaft, and then you see him kind of collapse at that point. Shh, I'm talking. Gosh, don't you hate it when little ones interrupt? But he's there, and it's and it is a redemptive scene of where you see them, where he asks them to help me remove my mask so I can look on you with my own eyes. And then he tells Luke that you were right about me, and he tells him, go and tell your sister you were right about me. and it is a redemptive story in the sense of him coming back from the dark side, but in the context of a biblical setting, it's not an it varies in the sense of the redemptive story which we would find in the Bible, because as we look at ourselves, there's no way possible that we could redeem ourselves. There's no way possible that we could break forth of the dark side, if you will. It was only through the Son that came and brought us to the light. So, but the story works with Vader and his redemption, and actually the scene is called the redemption of Vader's redemption after the lightning attack by the Emperor. And so, all in all, it is a good story and storyline, and like I was telling earlier, I was commenting about, because by now they've got the prequels and they got all the other stuff after these initial ones, but the ones that we had when I was growing up were just the three: the New Hope, all the way to the Return of the Jedi, and that was what we had. But yet the redemptive quality in that scene is that, and as you see later on in the film, when they're celebrating on Endor and the Death Star has been destroyed. And one thing I noticed when I was watching this was that when the Death Star is destroyed and there's an explosion, it's almost like a Vader-esque type of silhouette that I saw in the explosion. And to me, it was kind of an eminence of from death to life, in a sense, and that is the truest format of what we see in the light and the dark side of the Force. And that's a repeated theme that we see throughout the Scripture, where God brings life out of death. So it's all in all, it's a good thing, but we've got to understand that in the sense where Vader, in essence, through an act, redeemed himself. But then I think at another level, it was the love of a son that redeemed him, and that's more true to the biblical model for me, because it was truly our redemption did rest in the faith of a son and the faithfulness of a son who was willing to give himself and lay down his life for us. And so that's what I've got today, and to recognize that to all who are watching, you are loved by the Son, and he wants you to come to the light, and he himself is that light. And so that's all we've got for today, and we probably went over time, but anyway, that's all right. We'll get it next time or eventually. But if you like it, collect it.
And if you like it, collect it.